What if I told you that 36 minutes is longer than most people spend thinking about their entire future? That's the real shock here. We live in a world where people spend 3 hours scrolling reels, but won't spend 3 hours building something that could change their life. The stranger in this story wasn't special. He didn't have funding, didn't have a network, didn't have some secret degree from a fancy university. What he had was a willingness to sit in a room and get roasted, corrected, and rebuilt in real time. Most people protect their ego more than they protect their bank account. That's the tragedy. Somebody hands you a blueprint and you argue with it because it hurts your pride. This is why 36 minutes matters so much, because it proves speed isn't the bottleneck, clarity is. You don't need 6 months of finding yourself. You need one brutal conversation with someone who's already done what you're trying to do, who can see your blind spots faster than you can defend them. The business world is full of people who mistake motion for progress. They rebrand, they redesign the logo, they research the market for the 14th time. Meanwhile, someone else sits down, gets told exactly what's broken, fixes it in half an hour, and walks out with a machine that prints $6 million a year. Fast isn't reckless. Fast is what happens when ego finally gets out of the way. What if the biggest asset in this whole story wasn't money, wasn't marketing, wasn't even the idea? It was attention to the right problem. 90% of business owners are optimizing the wrong thing. They're polishing a website nobody visits, tweaking a logo nobody remembers, obsessing over an Instagram bio while their actual offer is confusing, weak, or invisible. In 36 minutes, the entire conversation wasn't about tactics. It was about identifying the one constraint choking the business. That's the part nobody teaches you. Every business has a single bottleneck at any given time, and everything else is noise until that bottleneck is solved. You could have the best product on earth, but if your offer doesn't communicate value in 8 seconds, you're dead before you start. You could have unlimited traffic, but if your close rate is garbage, you're just burning money faster. This is the brutal math nobody wants to hear. Working harder on the wrong lever is worse than doing nothing at all, because it gives you the illusion of progress while your runway burns. The stranger walked in confused, scattered, chasing 5 priorities at once. He walked out with 1 priority, 1 number to move, 1 lever to pull. That shift alone was worth more than any funding round. Clarity, not capital, is what actually builds 6-figure, 7-figure, and 8-figure businesses. Everything else is a distraction dressed up as strategy. What if I told you that price is not the reason people aren't buying from you? Value communication is. This is where most business owners flinch. They think the market rejected their price when really the market never understood what they were paying for. In this story, the offer got rebuilt in minutes, not because the product changed, but because the way it was framed changed completely. Same service, same delivery, same team. But suddenly, it sounded 10 times more valuable because the outcome was made obvious, the risk was removed, and the guarantee was strong enough to make saying no feel stupid. This is the uncomfortable truth. You can build the exact same business as someone else and make 1/10 the revenue simply because you're worse at explaining why it matters. People don't pay for products. They pay for the transformation, the certainty, the relief from a painful problem. The moment the offer stopped describing features and started describing outcomes, the perceived value skyrocketed without touching the price tag. That's the cheat code hiding in plain sight. Most founders spend years trying to cut costs or discount their way into sales, when the real unlock was sitting right there in their messaging the entire time. Fix how you frame the value, and suddenly the same business, the same hours, the same effort produces multiples more income without adding a single new customer. What if speed of execution mattered more than the size of your bank account? This is the part that should terrify comfortable people and excite broke ones. In this story, no money changed hands to fix the business. No investment, no loan, no rich uncle. What changed was decision-making speed. Every minute wasted, deciding is a minute a competitor uses to move ahead of you. Most people take weeks to decide on a business name. They take months to decide on a niche. They take years to decide to actually start. And then they wonder why someone younger, someone with fewer resources, someone who shouldn't have succeeded, blew past them in a matter of weeks. Speed compounds. A decision made today, even an imperfect one, beats a perfect decision made 6 months from now because the imperfect decision gets tested, gets data, gets corrected in real time, while the perfect plan is still sitting in a notebook. The stranger in this story made 10 decisions in 36 minutes that most people spread out over 10 months. That is not luck. That is a skill, and skills can be trained. The people who win in business are rarely the smartest in the room. They're the ones who convert thought into action the fastest, fail forward the quickest, and refuse to let hesitation disguise itself as caution. What if the guarantee you're afraid to offer is the exact thing that would triple your sales overnight? This is the part that makes people uncomfortable because it demands confidence they don't yet have. In the story, the turning point wasn't a new marketing channel or a clever ad. It was removing risk from the buyer's side completely. When you shift all the risk onto yourself and guarantee the outcome, you force yourself to actually deliver, and you force the customer to stop hesitating. Weak business owners hide behind vague promises because a strong guarantee terrifies them. What if people ask for refunds? What if it doesn't work? What if I lose money? But here's what nobody says out loud. A business that isn't confident enough to guarantee its results probably shouldn't be charging for it in the first place. The stranger's business exploded in value the moment the guarantee became so strong that saying no felt irrational. This is a pattern seen again and again in high-growth businesses. The strength of your guarantee often determines the ceiling of your revenue. People don't buy hope, they buy certainty. And certainty is manufactured by guarantees, not by hype, not by fancy branding, not by discount codes. If your offer is genuinely good, prove it with your own skin in the game, and watch resistance disappear. What if in 6 years you look back and realize the moment your life changed lasted less than 1 hour? That's the most unsettling truth in this entire story. We romanticize the grind, the 10-year overnight success, the years of suffering before the breakthrough. But sometimes the breakthrough isn't years in the making. It's one conversation, one reframe, one decision made in real time that compounds for the rest of your life. The stranger didn't spend a decade building this business. He spent 36 minutes rebuilding how he thought about it, and the results multiplied from there. This should terrify you and excite you at the same time. Terrify you because it means every day you delay, you might be sitting one conversation away from a completely different future, and you're choosing distraction instead. Excite you because it means you don't need permission, funding, or a perfect resume to change your trajectory. You need the right information, applied immediately, without hesitation. Most people are one skill, one framework, one mentor conversation away from a business that changes their family's future for generations. And they'll never know it because they were too busy protecting their comfort zone. Time isn't the variable. Willingness is. The clock never lied to the stranger in this story. His life changed in 36 minutes because he let it. What if I told you that somewhere, right now, a complete stranger, someone with no funding, no team, no special connections, just built a business that will make $6 million a year in 36 minutes? Not 36 months, not 36 weeks, minutes. While you were scrolling, while you were thinking about starting, while you were waiting for the right time, this person sat down, got told exactly what was broken, fixed it on the spot, and walked out with a machine that prints money. And here's what should scare you. It wasn't magic. It wasn't luck. It was 3 or 4 decisions, made without hesitation, stacked on top of each other in real time. The same decision sitting right in front of you, right now, that you've been avoiding for months, maybe years. So stay with me for the next few minutes, because I'm about to show you the exact 3 moves that turned a stranger's confused, broken business idea into a 6-figure-a-month machine. And if you apply even one of them today, your life will never look the same again. What if I told you that 36 minutes, less time than it takes to watch an episode of your favorite show, is all it took to turn a stranger's confused, broke, directionless business idea into a machine generating $6 million a year? You'd probably call it fake. You'd probably say, there's no way. But that's exactly the problem with how we think about success. We've been trained to believe that big outcomes require big timelines. 10 years to build a business, 5 years to find your niche, a lifetime to figure it out. And while you've been waiting for permission, someone else sat down for half an hour and changed their family's financial future forever. Here's what actually happened. A stranger walked in with an idea. Messy, unclear, priced wrong, positioned wrong, explained wrong. Not a bad idea, a poorly communicated one. And in minutes, not months, 3 things got fixed. First, the offer got rebuilt, not the product, the promise. Instead of describing what the service does, it started describing what the customer's life looks like after buying it. That single shift alone made the exact same service feel 3 times more valuable without changing a single feature. Second, the price got repositioned, not lowered, repositioned, because the real problem was never that people thought it was too expensive. The real problem was that they didn't understand what they were paying for. The moment the outcome became crystal clear, the price stopped being the objection. 30, and this is the part most people are too scared to do. The guarantee got strengthened until saying no became irrational, because certainty sells. Hope doesn't. People don't buy your product. They buy the confidence that it will work, and the guarantee is what manufactures that confidence. None of this required funding. None of this required a rich network. None of this required years of paying dues. It required clarity, speed, and the willingness to hear the truth about what was broken without getting defensive about it. That's it. That's the whole secret hiding in plain sight. And here's the part that should keep you up tonight. Most people will never experience this kind of breakthrough, not because they lack the idea, not because they lack the hustle, but because they lack the willingness to sit down and be corrected. Ego kills more businesses than bad luck ever will. The stranger in this story didn't win because he was smarter than you. He won because for 36 minutes, he let go of being right and focused on getting results. So ask yourself, what conversation are you avoiding right now? What blueprint have you already seen, but haven't applied because it stings a little? Because somewhere out there, another stranger is about to have their 36 minutes. The only question left is whether you're going to keep waiting for the perfect moment or whether you're finally going to sit down, shut your ego up, and let the truth rebuild your business the same way it rebuilt his. At the end of the day, this story was never really about 36 minutes. It was about proving that transformation doesn't need years, it needs clarity, speed, and the courage to be corrected. The stranger who walked into that room left with more than a fixed business. He left with proof that his future was never as far away as he thought. And that's true for you too. Somewhere inside your business, your idea, your half-finished dream sitting in a notes app, there's a version of it that's one clear conversation away from changing everything. The only thing standing between you and that outcome is the willingness to sit down, listen, and move.